And one idea that I got while recording was to cut up the audio. We can also delete that send for now. It's not needed anymore. And now we will have warp enabled. Warp mode set to, well, maybe repitch. I'm going to do that for all of them. So press shift, select all the samples, select warp mode to repitch. Now we have all of these samples and we're transposing them downwards. Let's turn off warp probably. Yep. And now you hear that the attack of this reverb is a little bit out of time. So a cool thing that you can do now is take the resampled audio and add it before the actual snare happens. So now we have this. Going to give them a bit more slack, so to say, by creating a fade in, so that the attack will be a little bit more sharp, but I'm quite happy with the sound already. I made my own distortion tab, and that way I can choose many flavors of distortion that I've found to work really well. So you can just choose any of them. So these are the Ableton stock plugins. I wouldn't really recommend the vinyl distortion. It can create some out of phase distortion, which it's technically how vinyl works. But in the case of music production, if you create out of phase sounds deliberately and you play them like on a mono device like a telephone, or it's just going to disappear. So better not to use it unless you're in a special case where you know that the audience will really receive your music in stereo. Let's see what the amp can do for us on the entire drum bus. So let's put it to stereo. That's really important, of course. And might want to dial back the dry wet to 0 before we turn it up. So I'm going to slightly turn it up and see what happens. So you can slowly hear that there are more highs, more distorted highs. Also the lows are getting more overtones, but also there's a higher noise floor. So I'm going to turn it back just a little bit. Not too sure yet. Going to turn it off and see if there's another distortion that is a little bit more satisfying. So of course there's the Ableton drum bus, which is really quite amazing. So let's try that one. Hoo-hoo. So I'm really taking it like really over the top, but the good thing is that we have a dry wet control, so that enables us to like first create an over the top sound and then dial back the dry wet, so that we can really play with how badly we want or goodly we want to distort the music. Let's check the gain staging. So this wet sounds is quite a bit louder. Which seems to be corrected now, so you don't want to create any gain differences between a dry and a wet sound. I think this is about nice. Going to dial it back just a little bit. creates a really lo-fi digital downsampled feel, which it actually is, and it's quite a cool sound. So you want to maybe group it, use Command G to group, and then again we're going to play with this dry wet by adding a utility. Utility is really a life-saving plugin. Yeah, just turn down the level of the Redux a lot. Add a high pass. We can even add a filter later, but high pass for now it's good. So now we can really play a bit with how much of this Redux we want. So of course you can adjust the sound. So without zero Redux, and then slowly adding it in. So might actually be nice to add an LFO to the downsample or just automate it. Maybe from up to down, see how that sounds. So notice how the downsample control is really moving itself right now, like you draw it. So I actually quite like that. The actual downsampling is going from a lower frequency to a higher one. So now we just change that around and see what happens if we do it the other way around. Increase the volume a little bit to hear it better. It's alright. A little bit much, so I'm going to take it back just a little. Just like that. And then the final master bus, drum bus processing that I want to do is, let's do a saturator. I'm gonna turn on the amp, see what happens. Output to 0, drive, give it a lot of drive. So I think this will be quite good. You can play around with the bass of the saturator to create a different feeling. So turn it up a little bit to hear it better. Gain staging again. Just see if there are volume differences. So a bit louder. Maybe even a little bit louder. Seems to be good. So just this is really too much, but somewhere like that should be really nice. So, and now I notice that this sound might be a little bit too intense, so time to take that down. Alright, so far so good. Let's take it out of solo and listen to the whole. I'm actually getting the idea that adding a filter at this stage would be quite nice. So let's just see how that works out. If you press this button right here, you can record any automation movements that you are doing inside of any plugin, really. Yeah, that's perfect. So My guess is that it would be nice to change the filter mode into bandpass, so it will take out even more information. But before we are leaving it with that, we are going to group the filter and just add the utility plugin, and this way we have again control over the dry and the wet. So let's see how that went. Gonna increase the buffer. It's getting really full right now. It's gonna be time to resample some of the sounds. I think that's good. So let's just take a second to really just listen to what we made. Like, we made a lot, and might be time to call it a day and work on this beat or loop or whatever, and maybe even make it into a song with a bass line, with chords, melody, whatever, next time. So let's see what we got. Cool. And with that, it's late, I'm tired, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any feedback, suggestions, stuff like that, and see you next time. Bye 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 bye.